1 week ago, the U.S. Supreme Court put an indefinite hold on the execution of Oklahoma convicted murderer Richard Glossip. That hold will stay in place while the justices consider Glossip's request to formally take up his case, a case that continues to garner international celebrity support for Glossip and foster strong disagreement from those who believe justice has been served and a third trial is unnecessary. Steve Shaw has spoken with both groups and has our report.
If you are doing time and didn't do the crime, that's a crime. That's a crime, and the people behind that should be held to account for that.
World famous clinical psychologist, talk show host, and Veneta, Oklahoma native Dr. Phil McGraw headed a rally at the state capitol Tuesday.
The prosecutor's job is not to get a conviction. A prosecutor's job is to get justice. And it's so hard for people to get involved. It's so hard for people to get involved and not get their ego engaged. Take it from me. I study why people do what they do and don't do what they don't do, and I understand it's hard for somebody to get 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years into a case and forget that their job, their duty to you in Oklahoma citizens, their duty to you is to get justice. And if they're 6 months or 6 years into a case and discover, whoa, there's something here that says we are on the wrong path with the wrong man, it is their duty to you to stand up and say, stop. We got the wrong person here, and we need to admit that and let it go.
The Supreme Court stay a week ago came after Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond wrote the court that the state of Oklahoma might have gotten it wrong. That was startling because just 10 days earlier, the State Pardon and Parole Board voted not to grant Glossip clemency. Dr. Phil wasn't the only world-famous advocate at Tuesday's rally. Sister Helen Prejean, who was portrayed by Susan Sarandon in the 1995 movie Dead Man Walking, also had something to say.
You know, the best definition of justice is just us. It's just us. And we, the citizens, stand up and we learn our stuff. You can't just go on emotion with this. Well, Dr. Phil said to do this. Go dig into it for yourself.
In 1997, Richard Glossip was the manager of an Oklahoma City motel when prosecutors say motel maintenance man Justin Sneed beat motel owner Barry Van Treese to death with a baseball bat in a robbery. Prosecutors determined back then Richard Glossip put Sneed up to it. Sneed avoided the death penalty. Glossip's been on death row since his conviction in 1998. He's had a handful of execution dates. The latest was May 18th.
The Supreme Court decision is a stunning victory for Richard Glossip and his supporters, but he's not out of the woods.
Broken Arrow State Representative Kevin McDougal says he started looking into this tangled web several years ago.
We've got to run legislation that corrects wrongs. We've got to talk people in here into getting bills passed that we need to make sure we're not putting innocent people on death row. And if they kill Richard Glossip, I'll be the first one to stand up and run a bill that abolishes this thing, I'm telling you. But I am for the death penalty. I'm just telling you right now, but if they kill Richard Glossip, I'll be the first one to stand up and go against the death penalty because it's not true and just in the state of Oklahoma.
At a news conference that followed the rally Tuesday, Dr. Phil said the fact Justin Sneed was a drug addict in 1997 was kept from the juries in 2 different murder trials where Glossip was found guilty.
No, the fact that he was on lithium is not a big deal for me. The fact that that was withheld from the jury and that he had the diagnosis of bipolar, and I believe it was bipolar 1, and that he was prescribed lithium, and that he was a meth addict, and that all of that information was withheld from the jury which would be an alternative explanation as to why that crime could be committed.
At a news conference at the state capitol last Thursday, State Representative Justin Humphrey, who also says he used to favor the death penalty, took aim at the prosecutors who convicted Glossip in the first place. Humphrey singled out former Oklahoma County District Attorney David Prater, who retired in January after 16 years in office.
I am just sickened. These people should be ashamed. They should be arrested. And I'm going to push. I hope I get to be the person to put handcuffs on them because they are ill. It's called perjury. The fact that they had witness tampering, and think about it. If the DA who can take your life tells you to do something, would you not do it? Guess what that's called? It's called witness intimidation. Both are felonies. They committed felonies to convict this guy. Why would they do that? It's unbelievable.
Don Knight is a Colorado defense attorney who has represented Richard Glossip for several years.
I've seen some of the reports from some of the district attorneys in the papers, and they're talking about how this case has been heard. It's been 2 trials. The courts have gone through everything. I want to tell all of those DAs, I'm here. I'm easy to find. Call me. I'll come to Oklahoma. I'll sit down with you. I'll go through the evidence that I have, and I want you to hear me out.
Knight also singled out former District Attorney Prater. He claims Prater told him back in 2015 there were several boxes of evidence in the Glossip case, but the then District Attorney never let Knight see them. I talked to David Prater by phone Wednesday afternoon. He had plenty to say. Prater says he accepted a meeting with Don Knight in Prater's office to go over the Glossip evidence on a Monday in September of 2015. He had an appointment to see me at 10 a.m. He chose, rather than coming with his defense team, he chose to have a press conference in front of the state capitol. I confronted him at the state capitol and told him that I would not meet with him because he is not a truthful person. Prater says while he didn't take office until after Glossip's second conviction in 2004, he knows prosecutors did follow up on all leads, including any real or imagined jailhouse snitches who may have claimed Glossip was not involved. As for Representative Justin Humphrey, Prater had this. Humphrey's allegations are absolutely absurd, and I would encourage him to come forth with evidence he has of me destroying evidence and any other allegation he wants to make of me. Steve Shaw, the Oklahoma News Report.